What's up guys, this is Sean and welcome to another episode of the Eheng podcast, and today will be another Asking Sean segment answering a question from Super Asia from email. Okay, Super Asia, wow. Hi Sean, saw your latest video and I would like to seek your opinion on JB's R&F Princess Cove. Whether is it worth investing for the long term. Many of the people around me is telling me not to buy a condo property in JB because it will be an absolute investment failure with the many ghost towns appearing in JB these years. And there is an oversupply of JB properties. There's no rental market, no capital appreciation whatsoever. Malaysia's political instability is also one strong deterring factor to invest in JB right now. However, these ghost towns I've seen in JB are situated in not very accessible and convenient areas of JB. Being a Singaporean and living in Singapore, I often drive through the Singapore Woodland Custom Checkpoint to CIQ. While stuck in the traffic jam, I always see R&F Princess Cove standing atop next to the Link Bridge, and you would think that wow, strategically the location it is. Knowing that government will also extend the MRT line to JB CIQ in the near future, and the more I think of Princess Cove is worth investing in the long term. Because JB is located right next to Singapore, I always have this feeling that JB culture, society and even housing properties will get influenced by Singapore market trend. Also, JB being the place where the Sultan stays, the development of the JB would not perform that badly. Being a time of poor economy and political instability, my views differs from many people, and in fact, I think now is a good time to pour my money out of the property investment at R&F. Why should I follow the mass public adopt a wait and see attitude when I know it's a good timing to take action now? The key reason why am I so crazy over this property? It's about location. However, many people discourage me from taking that first step, and I personally think that I should not give up. For your extra information, R&F Princess Cove will be my first property in Malaysia, but not first in my whole life. I have an existing property in Singapore. To keep my long story short, I would like to seek your expert views on whether R&F Princess Cove is a right buy for me or not. Okay, is it a high risk, sure lose money project? Thank you very much for your time. WJ. Wow. Such a long email, you see, such a long email. First of all, thank you very much, WJ. The thing is this lah, okay? My take on this property in JB is also very similar to what you get in the public, where it's oversupply, number one, not enough population. And this is pretty evident in the amount of data that you can find from all the medias around JB, where it means that a lot of units that have recently handed over are empty. And there are a lot of very good auction properties around the area. And auction is because the buyers cannot afford. Another insight that I found, I think I shared here one of the podcasts before, is that the preference for local JB people, right? When you say that whether the preference or the appetite for property will be the same from Singapore people and JB people, I differ though, because like local Johorians, right, will never buy an apartment because the apartment actually costs more than a double-story house. Why in the world would actually people to transfer through? And because more and more gated but not guarded kind of community, it means that individual title houses, then they start to do their own gated and guarded community, and they hire their own third-party security. I think those are also booming. But I do agree on the potential where you see and checked and you already observe like the amount of people that's going to travel in and out that Woodlands, right, is going to be just crazy. And maybe like being in R&F, right, people can actually walk, right, can actually just walk past the bridge, and you can sure away take bus to your job and workplace already. So my point of view is this lah, okay, so I think it's pretty solid that you have done your homework, and this is not your first time buying a property. You know what's affordable to you and what's the risk appetite that you are getting. My advice would be to check, number one, what's the rental rates around R&F, what's the current rental rate, and fast forward when you get your keys, what will be the estimated rental rates that you will be getting around that area, and what is that? Number two, your rental returns on the property. So is it 3%? Is it 2%? Right? I think it's around there lah. 2% and 3%. And is it okay for you? Then number three is besides this Princess Cove, besides this property, what other similar competitors that you will have in the same price range and same product type and area, because some might be just like 10 minutes away. So I would actually suggest for you to think yourself as a tenant, a potential tenant in the future. Is it possible to walk or that 5 minutes away, right? If I'm taking a motorbike to Singapore every day, I really don't need to be that close to the bridge, ma. So I'm actually thinking whether is there any properties, right, which is around 10 minutes away, right? Only mere 10 minutes away, but the selling price might be half. So the rental can also be half. And that makes more sense for a person that's actually working in Singapore and he needs to travel every day. So a motorbike, right, 10 minutes, not a lot, ma. Then for future appreciation, so if you look into the data of price appreciation, in JB now, year to year, I think it's around 1%, 2%. That's about it. Okay, so some even drop lah for valuations. So some even drop. It means, right, like let's say you're buying $1 million today. Next year, 1%, $1 million and 10,000, $1 million and 20,000. So it occurs that way. So are you okay with that type of capital appreciation? So I'm not saying that this might be a very good buy in my standards, but it's very important that it's your standard. You are making a well-informed decisions. You know what's the upside, what's the downside, and you know you are well informed about your decision to invest. So I think that's the whole punchline for this channel is to be a well informed investor. I know what's the risk one, and I personally think that when everybody don't like, then I go in. You all don't know one, things like that lah. So I think that's about it. I hope I answered your question. Thank you very much, Super Asia. What a cool name. For any audience who has more questions about real estate in Malaysia, do just email me at taniherng@gmail.com, or you can just look for me at iherng at multiple social platforms. And I think that's all for this episode. Thank you very much, and if you really like this episode, like it, share it, and even subscribe for more information like this. Until next time, this is Sean Tan. Ciao.